For the sequence defined by these guys, find a sub 2, a sub 3, and a sub 4. Okay, so how do we do it? Well, this is what's called a recursive sequence. Recursive means it recurs, like a recurring dream. Recurring, it goes back to a previous, right? So whenever something recurs, it goes back to a previous. So we call this recursive. Why? Because we're saying the n plus first term is 3 divided by the a sub n term, minus 2. In other words, this is the previous term, right? A sub n comes before a sub n plus 1. So what this says in more common English, any term, call it the n plus first term, is 3 divided by the previous term. That's what that's saying there. Any term equals 3 divided by the previous term minus 2. You see, an, what you got to see in this definition is an comes before an plus 1, right? Plus 1 is more, later. So that means any later term is 3 divided by the previous term minus 2. So that's, once you know what that's saying, this problem will be cake. So for example, a sub 2, which they want us to find right here. What will that be? 3 over the previous term, which is a sub 1, minus 2. So that'll be 3 over the previous term. What's a sub 1? Well, right here they started us off with a sub 1. That's 2 minus 2. So it's 3 halves minus 2. Whoop. If you do that on your calculator, 3 halves minus 2, you'll get minus 0.5. So a sub 2 is minus 0.5. And then a sub 3 is 3 over the previous term minus 2. You just keep going with that same formula. So what this says up here every time is 3 over the previous term minus 2. So in this case it's going to be, it's going to be 3 over, now what's the previous term? Well, it's this one. Minus 0.5 minus 2. And that's going to come out minus 8 if you use your calculator. Minus 8. See, the previous term there was a sub 2. Let's do the last one. So then a sub 4 is 3 divided by the previous term. So if n plus 1 is 4, this is going to be previous, which is a sub n, which is, right, if n's got to be 3 here, because this is a sub 3 plus 1, a sub 4, so this is a sub 3, the previous term, a sub 3, negative 8. Negative 8 minus 2. So it's a bunch of fancy stuff to say 3 over negative 8 minus 2. Use your calculator. I don't know, I'm going to use my calculator. I'm getting negative 2.375. Negative 2.375. So that formula, this formula here, just keeps saying 3 divided by the previous term minus 2. It recurs. It goes back to the previous term every time. So you just keep doing that. 3 over the previous term minus 2. That's what that formula says.